Ladies and gentlemen, we have an emergency press conference here. I'm here with the one and only Mark. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, intern Cole. How are you?
I'm doing great. And this emergency press conference, if you haven't heard, Joe Girardi has been fired. He is no longer the Phillies manager. I'm also live on DSM's TikTok, so if you're tuning in there, welcome. You can't see Mark. StreamYard has not gotten that high tech yet. But all in all, the TikTok is packed too. But all in all, Mark, what are your initial thoughts on Joe Girardi being fired?
Long overdue. He needed to. Well, let's be clear. Dave Dombrowski, when he came aboard, he inherited Joe Girardi, and he was not his guy. And I think he made it clear he wasn't his guy. And as his tenure progressed, as Joe's tenure progressed, it was really clear he didn't want to be there. I mean, he had zero energy, zero reactionary for anything that happened in the field. He made very questionable pitching changes and lineups and just wasn't. He wasn't dialed in. And if you're not going to be dialed in, why be here? Why be here? But they did him a favor by firing him. I think the last piece of it, like the team was just going downhill, and Jamie Apodi posted a tweet of him playing catch with his son on the field. I mean, that's great. Spend time with your kids and all that, but like you're at work and your work is blowing up, and this is the video that they show. It's just really, really bad optics. It really for me, I think it kind of, from an optics standpoint, put the nail in the coffin, and just them not able to win late games and not able to close deals. Like they just something had to be done. You're not going to trade the roster, so it's the manager that takes the hit.
Listen, like I said yesterday on Faithful, I don't think necessarily firing Joe Girardi is going to be the factor that turns. It could be, and I could be wrong, and I would own it. It's going to be the factor that turns this season around. But all in all, it's more about the fact that that they're doing something. And I know Jason Voorhees, a member of DSM, and Kata and Dylan were all big on they need to do something, which I was too. But I'm still concerned about the bullpen. But this was definitely a step in the right direction. This was definitely a step in the right direction for the Phillies to make a move. And maybe the bullpen does turn around. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. But it's just nice to see that the Phillies did something.
I don't think they had a choice. I mean, I don't think they could have ride this out any further. I do question the timing. I'm not sure why you do it on a game day when you had an off day yesterday, unless they were trying to finalize some things that went into the wee hours or whatnot. Yeah. It did come. I don't think there was a lot of noise of them wanting to make a change. I think a lot of the noise came from your social media and from your fans, but not necessarily from the team itself. So this is a bit of a surprise, if you ask me. I don't think it's a something that was really expected. So, yeah. From what you say, I think they have the players in place and things in place. I think they just need to move the chess pieces differently, dude. And Rob Thomson, is he going to be able to do that? I don't know. I don't know much about him other than he was his bench coach. If I'm Dusty Wathan, I'm really pissed because there's another chance that I can't manage at the big league level, and I'd ask for my release because I don't think he's ever going to get a chance here to manage or do anything more than be a third base coach.
Yeah, but it's nice. It is nice to see the Phillies. They made a step in the right direction, and it was shocking. I know me and Dylan talked about it on Faithful. We were not expecting Joe Girardi to be fired till the end of the season. That's really what I thought. I thought they were just going to let him ride it out. But it shows initiative. It shows an initiative that we haven't seen necessarily from this team in the past or past GMs or past, it's something that we haven't seen. That's them taking the initiative to fire Joe Girardi. And this could turn the season around. I really was confident that we were going to turn the season around either way, regardless of Girardi. I said yesterday that I still think we have a very good shot at making the playoffs. But now it is time to see how much of it was Joe Girardi and how much of it was just the team not being there.
I think the team takes on the life of who their leaders are, both in coaching and managing, and also on the team itself, the players themselves. I think Joe was a dud. I don't think he had much personality. He didn't have much energy for a team in a town. I think that demands that. So sorry about that. My cell phone's going off, and it's nowhere near where I'm at. Yeah, I just I hopefully there's some sort of change that does happen that's positive. I don't think the season's lost at all, Cole, because of the expanded playoffs and whatnot. They have a chance to get in, and hopefully a different voice helps motivate these guys to perform better what they have been. Because right now they've been, it's like they've been in quicksand all season. Hopefully they can break out of it now.
Yeah, and I'm definitely like I've said, there's still issues in place. The bullpen still has struggled. He's thrown a million guys out there, and a lot of them have been bad. But like you said, maybe it's a spark. Maybe this lights a fire under them now that we'll see an improvement that we haven't seen in the past, that we haven't seen so far this season. So
Yeah.
it's like I said, it is time to see what the biggest issue was. And a lot of people thought it was Joe Girardi. I thought it was the bullpen. I thought the bullpen was a little bit of a bigger issue because you can whoever he went out there, no matter what situation, other than maybe Sir Anthony and occasionally Brad Hand, has been awful.
I think with the bullpen though, Cole, is I don't think they have defined roles, and that's really what the problem is. Like if you don't have a defined role, then you're like lost. You're going to be whether it's baseball or you work for a company. If you don't know what your role is, you're not going to perform to your expectation. And hopefully, with Rob now being the interim manager, he can put some of these guys in the bullpen in certain roles. In certain, who's the setup guy? Who is going to be the closer? Is it going to be Corey Knable or Sir Anthony or somebody else? I don't know. Does he get carte blanche to change things up? I think he's given marching orders. He needs to turn his team around, and they have faith in him to do that. And I think you'll see a lot of changes in your lineup and the setup of your bullpen. I think that's what they need. That Joe just wasn't willing to do. He really didn't do a really good job with that stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the defined rules could change things around. Like I'm saying, there's still I'm just still worried about the bullpen because we haven't seen them. It's just the same thing every year. Even when they had the defined rules. It feels like ever since Charlie Manuel left, we haven't had a good bullpen. Our bullpen has just been, and I know we have a little bit more talent in the bullpen now, guys who have done something compared to past years. But at the same time, it doesn't seem necessarily like it just seems like a constant thing. And we've seen Gabe Kapler's success since he's left the Phillies.
Yeah, I think he has a little bit more to play with, and he could say he learned a little bit from the Phillies, but he still makes some boneheaded decisions over there. He left a reliever off his roster the other night, and he wasn't available, one of his top relievers. So, like, he's still in a haze sometimes. I don't think if you kept Kapler here, we would be in a better position. I really don't. I think we'd be the same. There's a piece that's missing, a spark, a leader. I don't know. Joe Girardi wasn't it. I think you do have to start looking internally to the players that they do have on the team. A lot of the guys on the team are new. Harper is the guy, and people look to him as the leader. But I sometimes I'm starting to question whether or not that he is the right guy to lead this team. He can lead them on the field with respect to his play, but internal clubhouse, motivating guys, being a leader that way, being mentors to other players. I don't know if he's the guy for that, and he hasn't really shown me much other than being like a rah-rah type fan guy and pandering to the fans. I haven't seen him motivate other players to do well. Maybe that's not in his cards, and that's okay, but you need to get somebody to complement that. And I don't know if Nick Castellanos or Kyle Schwarber or somebody else on the team is that guy either. I'd like to think at least like Kyle is. He won a World Series. But, the culture here is broken, and they need to figure out a way how to fix it. And firing Joe Girardi is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, I was never saying let's keep Girardi. I got a sneeze coming. Hold on. I was never saying let's keep Girardi, but what I've always been is it's more than Joe Girardi. It's the bullpen. It's the culture. So, and you know what? It's fair. Firing Joe Girardi is a step in the right direction. And the Phillies took a step in the right direction today. So even if it's not this season, even if we continue to struggle this season, it just shows the accountability and that the Phillies are willing to hold people accountable and take steps in the right direction to build a championship level team.
No, agreed. But here's the thing: they can't keep starting over and over again. They got to figure out what their plan is and stick with it. Now, if Dombrowski is the going to be the guy who's the head of baseball operations, and Sam Fold is going to be the general manager in waiting or assistant general manager, whatever title he has, what is their game plan? What do they want to do? They obviously acquired some pieces that they think that were the right pieces for the team, but I think they had the wrong manager to put those pieces together. I don't know if Rob Thomson is going to be the guy that if they'll take the interim head coach position or manager position off of his plate at some point. I think Dave wants a guy that he feels comfortable with. So unless he really kind of takes off, I see this being a stopgap for this year, and they're going to have to start all over again with the coaching staff next year.
I think my biggest thing that we've seen is, like I said yesterday on Faithful, this is the flip side of when you are aggressive. This is the flip side. We sat there and a lot of people, and you know what, and rightfully so, praised Dombrowski for spending over the budget, for going into the luxury, for spending that extra money to get Kyle Schwarber and to get Nick Castellanos, and bringing guys like Brad Hand and Corey Knebel and try to build something. So this is the flip side. So we can't sit here and bash Dombrowski for who we brought in, because at the end of the day, I would have brought in Kyle Schwarber too. All he did was win. He just had a phenomenal season. He just was on the Nationals where he won on a stretch where he hit like 12 straight games with a home run or something crazy like that, or 14 home runs in like 20 days. And then he went to the Red Sox, helped them get to the playoffs, win the wild card, helped them beat the Rays, and then lose in the ALCS. And then he brought in Nick Castellanos, who was a Silver Slugger last year and one of the best hitters in baseball. So I can't sit here, even if they continue to struggle and be like, all right, well, this is all on Dombrowski. It was a dumb move, because it wasn't. Dombrowski made smart moves this offseason. It just seems like it's not working out right now. And also, we're 50 games into the season. It's 100. We have 100 plus games left. We still have a lot of baseball left.
We sure do.
And maybe this Girardi firing turns things around. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe next year when they bring in a brand new coaching staff and they reset everything, maybe next year's the year. But we've waited long. We're impatient at this point. We are impatient with this team because we've been waiting over a decade now for this team to make the playoff, for this team to build something. And I'm all in all, I am happy that they fired Joe Girardi. I'm still think that there's issues that need to be turned around, but I still think that this team very well can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they have a shot to turn it around and get above 500 and maybe go on a streak. I would say that this weekend probably should be a real successful weekend. Maybe winning 2 out of 3.
I don't know. The Angels are one of the best teams. I've been amazing. Have done very well this season. If the Phillies can take a game, I would be okay. If they take 2, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think with a coaching change, though, you see an initial spark. So I think they have a chance to take the series this weekend.
Yeah, I think I don't think there's a team that. Here's the thing with the Phillies. I don't think there's a team that the Phillies don't have a chance to beat. I think the Phillies can beat anybody in the league, but we've also seen that they can lose to anybody in the league.
That is true. That is true. They are what their record is. I mean, they're 21-27. Is that their record right now? Yeah. I mean, they have as many wins as the Orioles and Pirates, who have been at the bottom of the baseball for I don't know how long. So the Phillies shouldn't be there, especially with the money that they've spent, and it's really disappointing. But like you said, there's 100 games left. They have a chance to reset and go on a tear and put the pieces in the right places to succeed. I don't know what their next move could be. They said that they'll be buyers at the trade deadline. I think for them to be buyers, their record needs to be a hell of a lot better where they're at now. Maybe be at least 5 games over 500. So they'll have to go on a real tear to make that happen.
Jason, I just got done working out, and then I literally was on my way back, and I started this. I never do it in my room, so it might be echoey, and for the background noise, I know Mark's phone is going off and stuff. This is an emergency press conference. This is the last minute. It's supposed to be like this. So, Mark, what are your final thoughts on everything before we wrap this up?
My final thoughts are I think it was the right decision. I think they should have done it a little bit earlier if that's really what they were thinking and not let get to the team to where it is. Hell, I might have done it after the Brewers game when Schwarber just went nuts and Joe didn't say anything. I might have done it then, especially since he's not Dave Dombrowski's guy. It's a step in the right direction. They have a chance to salvage the season. They just need to change things up with the lineup, and they need to get bullpen definition. They need to figure out who's coming in, what inning, and give them defined roles for them to be successful.
Sorry,
Jesus, Cole.
I was
damn allergies, man.
The allergies out here. You know how it is over here in farm town. But all in all, like I've been saying, it's a step in the right direction. The Phillies have a very good chance. I won't say very good. They have a realistic chance of turning this thing around, and I still think they will. But I'm optimistic. I'm a very optimistic fan for most of the time. And
I am too.
I'm happy they took a step in the right direction, and I'm happy with the way that they're going about things. It may not be this year, it may be next year, but all in all, Joe Girardi is no longer the Philadelphia Phillies manager. That is it for Joe Girardi's tenure as the Phillies manager. Pretty underwhelming, pretty unsuccessful, seeing how he very well could be a Hall of Famer. But that's going to wrap it up for this emergency press conference. I would say as always, but I think this is the first time we did it. Mark with a C coming at you along with me, intern Cole. Make sure you follow us and DSM and the rest of the team on all social medias. Thank you guys for listening.
Thanks, guys.